3 darce choke setups I think everybody should know. The first one, we're just gonna go from like your standard attacking from like the front headlock position. This is like the bread and butter of a darce choke. However, I tend to see an area, the transition from the front headlock to the darce is where I see a lot of people lose the actual darce choke, right? So what people need to understand, let's just turn this way a little bit. It doesn't matter if I have like a body lock, split seatbelt, front headlock, it doesn't matter what your hand setup is. We need to always remember that for the darce chokes in general, I want to make sure that my arm is going from the armpit to the opposite side of the neck, and I'm catching it with a gable grip. This is going to be your initial catch. Now I want you to really pay attention to the armpit to the neck portion of the darce choke, because that will allow you to see multiple positions where you can hit the darce choke. Again, we'll go over some of those today. But regardless of how I'm set up here, what I tend to see people do is they just kind of reach for this position like this, and they try locking it up here. I see a lot of my white belts trying to do this. I'm not really in a good position to put any pressure on his head because my arms are off to the side at this point, and I'm kind of over leaning here. So especially for someone that might have some wrestling experience, this is a great opportunity for him to literally just kind of sit through, and he can turn into me and we avoid the darce choke altogether. So if you're in my position, what I just went over with my students last week with this is that I really want you, if we're going from the turtle position, I want you to almost throw yourself off on the side. And as you throw yourself, I'm going to shoot this arm all the way across so it's nice and deep. I'm still keeping pressure on his back so I have that connection, but I'm shooting that arm nice and deep. Once I do catch the gable grip, again, I want to immediately break that posture. I'm not trying to bring my forearm at the back of his neck because he can still lift his head there. I want to go right at the base of his skull, chomp down on that forearm so that his head and posture is broken. This is what will allow me to dump him off to the side to where now we can finish off the darce choke. That's like the biggest area, the transition and the pressure on the head. So from this angle, again, nope, go turtle. When I'm in this front headlock, body lock, whatever position you want, again, I shoot to the side and I'm gonna drop my hip. Shoot that arm all the way through, gable grip, chomp down on the head right away. That's the catch. At this point, break that posture, dump them off to the side. Now from here, I wanna make sure that I sink my chest a little bit because again, I wanna keep this arm compressed. As I sink that chest, I just circle up. Now you can even stay on your knees, that's fine. What's important here is the hand connection at this point, right? 2 ways that we can finish the darce choke. You got your standard way, which means I'm going all the way to my elbow and I bring this hand all the way up to the top, or we have the short darce where I'm going just to kind of like my forearm, and this one I'm chomping down the elbow as I bring that hand up and we're squeezing. Now again, detail with this. When I'm going for either one of these, I'm never releasing this arm to grab again. So we have our gable grip, this was our initial catch. If I'm bringing my arm all the way to the elbow, I'm sliding that arm, keeping this head posture broken. His defense is going to be posturing that head so that he can avoid the pressure of the choke. I break down that posture, I slide my hand across the back of his head till we lock up to the elbow, and we finish the darce that way. Or I keep pressure on the head, I get to my forearm, sometimes I'll even like invert my arm like this so that I get a nice little twist, cut out that slack, we squeeze. Now one thing that I also do with the darce choke is I bring this hand up at the same time. So not only am I squeezing and compressing my shoulders and my back and using my entire upper body, but I'm actively pulling up on this bottom hand as well to get that extra pressure. Whether you go on your knees or you kick your legs back to finish, it's indifferent. This is the pressure that we're looking for. So that is the first position that I think everybody should know how to hit a darce choke from. Again, that is like the bread and butter when it comes to darce chokes. Now the second position I like to hit darce choke is, believe it or not, from mount. This is probably one of the sneakier entries for it, and you can bait your partners into it pretty well. If you start hitting this on your partners time and time again, they're not gonna necessarily fall for the darce choke, but that's just gonna set you up for other submissions. Now what I like to do from mount is I'm gonna actively push down on his hand. So whether I was doing all this, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna actively push on his hands. I'm gonna take one leg and literally just kind of toss it and hang it up here. What I'm looking to have happen is he doesn't want this leg here. Typically, they're gonna use this as an opportunity to start shrimping and brushing this arm off. Now again, I told you to pay attention, armpit to the far neck. So as he's pushing this leg up and over and he starts turning onto his side, I'm just going to baseball slide onto my hip. And again, now I'm in the position. I take that hand, I shoot it all the way across, I gable grip, I come back down onto my knees. Now we're in the exact position that we just started from at the beginning. Whether I go elbow deep or short darce, it doesn't matter, it's right there. So one more time, we're in this mounted position. Again, doing whatever you want. I post, I shoot this leg here. The moment he pops it up and over, we're here. Shoot this arm across, catch. Again, break that posture right away. This has to be your first motion. Once you gable grip, chomp down on that head. Now from there, we finish up the Darce choke and we get the submission. So that's position number 2. The third position, off side control, I kind of want to bait this person into wrestling up a little bit. So typically when you're in top position for side control, you want to have this far underhook. This is a good control point. Now, if they do get to underhook on me, what I'm going to let happen sometimes if I can't keep him down anymore, I'm going to let him start wrestling up. And as he starts wrestling up, I'm going to start creating that pocket where, again, armpit to the neck. I take that overhand and I'm going to shoot this hand all the way through, gable grip, chomp down, and right away we're into this Darce. Now, if this arm is trapped on the outside like it is right now, all I have to do is take that leg, extend it, and I can bring it around on the other side. So it's really easy to avoid it. This works really well if these guys explode up into that wrestle up position. So if he really starts exploding up, boom, right here, catch it. Even if he starts working all the way up to turtle, guess what? I'm in that Darce catch. Break that posture, dump him back on the side, and right away we can go right back into the Darce choke. So the way, just so you all know, if he wants to avoid getting Darce in that position, what needs to happen is as he wrestles up, if he starts scooping that leg, right, go for the single leg, he wants to make sure that he actually scoots himself down towards my leg to where now I don't have a good position to get that arm in. If he just wrestles up and he keeps himself tight like this, which is common, again, I'm in that position where I can get nice and deep, I can break that leg, break back down, and we go right back into the Darce choke. Now, just as like a bonus, right? Again, if we're focused on the armpit to the neck idea, you can hit that from a ton of positions. Again, even if I'm seated and he's kind of on his knees in front of me, right? If I arm drag, boom, arm drag, armpit, neck, shoot that hand up, catch, boom, there's your Darce choke from there. Same thing could be like if he's on my back, hooks him as well, right? Let's say I work off to the side, maybe I manage to clear this arm. Guess what? Armpit to neck. Shoot that hand up. Lock it up. That's Cade and Ty Rotullo, however you say the last name. They're real big on hitting the Darce choke from there. So once you start understanding where the arm and head have to be to hit that Darce choke, trust me, you'll start seeing opportunities to hit those from multiple different positions. But hitting it from turtle, hitting it from mount, and hitting it from a wrestle up are 3 positions that everybody should know how to hit a Darce choke from.